Well, hello, my fellow rebels. Welcome to a nail tip brought to you by Rebel Nails by Rachel. So, I don't know about you, but I have, even using tips and tricks, I have struggled sometimes with getting really super fun, super wonderful, chunky, really potent glitter polishes to really fully mix so that I can apply them. And so I can struggle with that a little bit. And yes, I use the trick. And if you don't know this trick, you can turn the bottle upside down. This one is one of my, of course, my favorites is Tammy's Victorian Varnish. Hang on, come on, cooperate, please. Yeah, Buried Treasures. So, and I actually added the extra glitter to this one because I am a glitter girl. I love it, even though it drives me nuts sometimes. Turning it upside down and then putting it between your thighs, not the crotch, but between your thighs to warm it up. Or my personal favorite is to place it, well, yeah, obviously you can't put it upside down, but you can place it on the little warmers like you use for little coffee and tea warmers to warm it up. Now, Robin over at Pretty Fingers by Robin, she originally, when I was struggling with this, she taught me, she used a coffee mug with hot water in it, and she would sit them in there and let it warm up. Because I do find that for whatever reason, when the polishes are warmer, they do seem to mix faster or easier by hand. And this applies for gel and varnish. Now, of course, my favorite is typically varnish because I'm trying to limit not too much gel on my nails because I already have enough as it is, and I'm trying to let's not get that lovely contact dermatitis and all those issues. So I prefer varnish, and because I am never the neatest, cleanest person when I'm doing art, and let's face it, nails are art. So what I've got here is 4 different glitters, and then after I show you the glitters, I'm going to show you how to do the same process but with magnetic, because I've discovered that that's also a super important trick, especially when working with varnish. So here's my original test. So let's start off by looking at it originally. So doing the traditional regular upside down, warm it up, handshake. So Victorian version, her Buried Treasures, this is Zombie Claw, The Forest. This is one of the new ones that came out. This is oh yeah, Wicked Lacquer. It was another one that recently came out as a F-Ice. Had to have it just because of the name. And then there's just a generic one I think I got in the dollar store back when the dollar store was still $1. But these are all examples of different glitters that I've used and that I love, and they're beautiful, but it sometimes can be a bit of a struggle to get them mixed up so that they really come out the way we want them. So this came to me when there were some students working on some senior design, and they needed to they were having issues mixing some enamel paint that they needed to use for their design and getting it just right. And I told them, well, me having a science background, take this off because it's kind of messed up. So why don't we just go ahead and use your scientific mixer? I told them, I said, go get one of the mixers, the glass, we can stick it in there, but instead of using the glass, we could drop the mixer bead inside of it, and then we could use it to spin it and mix it up. And that allowed it to mix it up properly so that they could use it, because these are college kids on a budget, just like the rest of us, even more so. We remember college years, or we know college years. And I was like, duh, Rachel. Nail polish is just freaking paint. It works the exact same way. So, literally, I have a spinner in here, a little magnetic bar that comes with them, and I'll show you those. And I've dropped it into here. I'm actually going to see if I can get it to turn on its side and see if it'll start mixing so you can see it a little bit better. And I want to show you with one of the other ones that you can probably show a little better. So hopefully you can see it kind of mixing. And you can see it starting to really mix it up so that we can use it, right? Let's try, I think Zombie Claw or Wicked will show better. So I have a little spinner bar on there. And I have micro beads, micro spinner beads in there, and I'll show you what they look like in a second. There, see, now you can see that it's really mixing. And of course, when it has the ball bearing in there, the ball bearings are also metal, so it'll also snag onto those a little bit, and it'll help to mix it up better. Let's see if you can really see it on this, the F-Ice one. Yeah, there we go. So you can really see it. It's really going to town, right? It's mixing that sucker up. And I like to turn it on the sides a little bit because it gives it a little more surface area to really fully mix in there. So it really gets, and I'm not gonna lie, I'll give it a little bit on each side. And the chunkier the glitter is, or perhaps the longer you've had it, sometimes it needs to mix for a little bit longer, right? But you can see just how well it really mixes it. Let's see if we can see on this one. Yeah, you can see just how darn well it really mixes it. And of course you can just turn it upside down, but you can't tell from that view. So I find, again, if I can, try to turn it on its side so it gets a little more surface area to move around in and mix. So I've mixed these up pretty well. Now what I mean by, hello, spinner bars, and those of you that had chemistry and all those other, you're probably thinking spinner bars, like how the HE double hockey sticks are going to fit in there, because most spinner bars that most of us are used to are this size. I will tell you this, you can cut these if you want to. So you can cut them into smaller pieces to use. And this is literally, there's the magnetic bar that's inside of this is coated by the ceramic, right? Well, I love Reddit. I didn't even think about it. I had no clue that they made these things. They're called micro beads, micro spinner bars, micros. Perfect size to fit into your nail polish. And yes, we can retrieve them, as you can see. There's still some little bit of polish that's dyed into on this. So you can see it does work. I'll show you how to retrieve it. But let's show you what we get here. So I'm going to go with, see, even default sometimes I just still want to shake it. I want to do purely unshaken. And see, I've got the bigger, chunkier glitter pieces. All right, come on, if I can get them off the brush. That's a user error, not a polish error. So I got where I had to fight to get the one big chunky. I was able to get 3 from mixing it using the mixer, and look at the other glitters that I was able to get and pick up in comparison, just by using the trick. And I'm not going to screw the lids on all the way, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're anything like me, screw the lid at least partially on, because you're going to knock the sucker over. I'm not going to lie. This is Zombie Claws. I believe this one is Feel the Force or Fear the Force. Something to force. Hang on, I'll show you and we'll go over it. There it goes. Yeah. Look how saturated that one is. And of course, yeah, it still needs another coat. But, hey. The Zombie Claw, it's the latest one. Broken by the Force. So this is one of their, little box of horror. I had to get it because of all the Star Wars stuff, but Broken by the Force. Then we have Wicked Lacquers. F-Ice. Had to get it because, obviously, because of the name of it, and then 2, because it was a charity polish, and so a lot of it went to, see, can you not tell me that there's no way you cannot see how much more glitter is already there just from using the mixer. And this one is it's just LA Girl. Again, like I said, I got it like at the dollar store. It's a Burst, if I remember correctly. And even it's a little more pigmented, not totally pigment as much, but it's more pigmented than. So we can very easily see the difference between regular heating it up, hand mixing, versus using the magnetic spinner. Same here. Zombie Claws, Feel the Force, Fear the Force. Sorry, I guess it's the Broken by the Force. Wicked Lacquers, Ice, F Ice, and then of course just the regular. And you can see the difference you get with your glitters using the spinners. Now, set this to the side real quick so that you don't panic. Now, here's the thing. When you get most of these scientific mixers, they're going to come with a magnetic retriever. This is probably what you're used to. And the magnetic retriever is going to be on this end, not the skinny end. So, obviously, that's not going to fit inside of most nail polish bottles, right? That's just not going to. What will, however, is if you've got the little draw tool, the magnetic draw tool, so you can like hand draw stuff. All I did was shave it down using my e-file so I could get it small enough. And it works a champ. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to retrieve. Just take it off. Just scrape off there. Stick it inside of it. Go around a little bit. Careful, because sometimes you get extra. So like this one's got a ball bearing. Oh, multiple ball bearings. Hey! Not gonna complain on that one. Come off. Back in there. And there we go. I just need to get that ball bearing gone. So I'm just going to stick it back in there. So yeah, you're going to waste a little polish, or if you may feel like you're wasting a little polish with it. However, I find I'm wasting less polish because but then that's it, and you just retrieve it. And so this is what I mean by like the bars, so you can just cut them and make them bigger. So for the really super chunky, and see again, I really look at how much is on there. I'm gonna pull those off and stick them back in the bottle because I don't want to waste them. All right, so I'm gonna pop these under the dryer, let it dry a little bit so I don't smear it, and then next I'm gonna show you the magnetic. So let's pop this and come back. All right, let's try to get this a little there. Okay, so while it was drying a little bit, I went ahead and removed. See the little micro beads? I just pulled them out. They're here, and I need to clean them up. And I usually just use an old ugly brush. It's been ugly to clean them up with polish, but anyways, that's not important. So next, let's read the process with magnetics. Now, this was another one of those lovely little rabbit hole posts on Reddit that I found. And they were talking about having issues and using different shakers and different things and how it was an issue. A lot of people's issues with picking up good designs with magnetic polishes, and they were referring to gel polishes, has to do more with simply the polish has not been properly mixed, because the way the magnetics work is that there are small metallic flakes that are suspended inside the suspended polish that combines and comes through, and that's the whole, scientific method that works. But they're talking about it with gel polishes, and they were talking about the same thing, like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if they could use, this sort of thing? And I was like, well, wait a minute. What if it's the same principle for regular varnish, right? After figuring out the issue with the chunky glitters, I said, why wouldn't it work for magnetic also if that's the problem, is it really needs to be mixed? And that's why you're not getting really good, crisp lines, etc., sort of things. Now, we do know that gel sits a lot better, and varnish is going to bleed out a little bit. That's just the nature of it. But I have found that by mixing it the same method and then immediately sticking it quickly, fast underneath the fan, it actually keeps it at pretty much at a minimum. So I'm going to show you using probably what I consider to be like the top 5 best independent brands. Do I PR for any of these people? No, I'm purely sharing what I have learned personally and what I find. So most of us have started with Mooncat. That's probably one of the ones that started you. So this is one of the Imperial Stormtrooper version for Star Wars, because yeah, of course, duh. And after I found Mooncat, then I can't remember. I want to say I found Fancy Gloss next. I freaking adore Fancy Gloss. This one's a Sangria Velour. I think I said that right. But anyways, yeah. And here's a lovely little tip and trick for me. I mark mine with the M for magnetic on my swatches. T for thermal, S for solar, R for reflective, glow in the dark is the G, you know, obviously those kind of things. And then after that, I would say, I think I found Dam and Lin B about the same time. And I find them to be both about the same. I actually have more Lin B's. I don't know why. I love Dams. Their works are great. But this is the Omniverse Odyssey by Dam Nail Polish. And this is Lin B's Metonia. And they're both magnetic polishes. Again, mark them with the M so that I know. But my personal favorite, I think the Gold Star goes to the Tammy of the Victorian Varnish. This is a Shattered Glass Hearts, and I'm pretty sure this is a recent one, and I think she still has this one on the website if you're lucky. So we're going to see what happens. So these work the exact same way. These have got dropped inside of them also the same little magnetic spinners. Should be able to see it here, I hope. If not, I'll pull up one of the other ones. And you can see that it's spinning. And again, like I said, I like to spin it on its side and roll mine a little bit just to help it mix in. So I have one of the beads that are in there. Let's see, I think this might show because it's a darker color. Sometimes the darker colors are easier to see on the cameras when you're trying to demonstrate this kind of stuff. So you can see it spinning. And yeah, it is doing the glass bead effect because it's in the middle, but that's not going to hurt anything. It's mixing it up. But you can see kind of where it's mixing. Let's see if we can see it better maybe with Mooncat. Yeah, there you go. So you can really see that spinner going to town on the flat bottle there. So you can see it is really going to town mixing that sucker up. And that's what we want it to do. And the good news is it mixes it up pretty darn good enough to do a whole full manicure, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to apply them. And I'm not going to do the magnetic effect. And I'll explain as we go. So I'm going to just go ahead and put it on here. And as you know, for the magnetics, yes, we do build it up a little bit. But you do actually want to put a little bit more on there than what you would normally do for a regular polisher, right? And me personally, I don't know why, I actually prefer magnetics over a black base. But, you know, hey. For this, I wanted to show you purely on what it looks like on a natural nail. Notice I'm not worrying about doing any design just yet. And that's because I'm going to use Victorian Varnishes Captivate, which is really good for magnetic polishes. Because what happens is with magnetics is as soon as you put that top coat on, be danged if it doesn't reactivate it and go through. So if you've done it and you have the luxury of being able to give it 24 hours to fully cure, You can pop a gel on top of it and then cure it. And you get a heck of a lot less bleed that way. So you have a lot less blowout. Bleed, blowout. Yeah, you have a lot less of that going on. So that's an option. And there's other polishes that make purposely for magnetic. And they're good. It's just the minute, of course, it gets wet, it gets reactivated and you start to lose whatever design you might have placed into it, especially when you're working in varnish. Not with gels, but with varnishes. It works that way. I should have loosened these bottle tops up, but you know, Dams. And I'll make it. I told you I make a mess when I'm doing this. There's just no way I'm not going to make a mess. I do absolutely no art, no kind of painting, nothing. If it involves paint in any way, shape, or form, usually markers, everything's for like matte pencils and crayons. I can bet you crayons, I can probably still make out one of those. I'm going to find a way to make a mess. I just make my mess and clean it up. Okay, so the Captivate. So the Captivate is really good top coat, really best for magnetics. And this is a Victorian varnish product. Oh, it's still sticking. I thought I had it completely dry. Oh well, apparently it didn't. And I'm going to stick it. Ooh, if it will let me. Come on, please. Please be nice and cooperate with me, sir. Kind sir. Oh, hang on. That should work to hold it, maybe. Alright, yeah. At least long enough so I can do this part. La, da, 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 da. Okay, sorry. And don't worry, I actually have a whole nother bottle of it. Snickerdoodles. I don't want to waste any of it, but yeah. And again, I do not PR. I have paid for all this purely out of my own pocket. I just like to support my fellow nail addicts. Or maybe I should say enable, but you know, hey. All right, and if it's a magnetic tool, it exists out there, I own it. I've tested and bought all of them trying to think that, you know, maybe I was just using the wrong tool. But it could actually be the actual prep that's the issue. So the thing is, when magnetics, you want to get the wand as close to it as you possibly can without actually touching. I need to reactivate that one. So that's the only problem. And it's a good problem to have. Is Tammy's stuff does dry actually pretty fast. And that's not, like I said, that's not really a bad thing, especially when we're doing stuff like this. There we go. Because you really do want it to dry pretty darn fast. Because the faster it dries, see, the better the design. Check out those lines. So, you want it to dry fast. Come on, come on. There we go. Yep. Gorgeous. More, come on. I think it needs a little more activate on that one. Maybe I didn't really activate it very good. Because I'm not, yep, see, yep, I didn't get enough of it on there. There you go. There we go, better. Taking a miss. Oh well. That's the way it is when you work with art. Okay, like I said, thankfully I have a whole nother bottle of Captivate already in there. I probably should go ahead and order a third one. Come on, come on, come on, come on. The lines are pretty good on that one. I swear, told you I'll make a mess here. It's okay. It's okay. It's art. It's fine. It'll clean up. Hush, killer. There's a storm coming through, so my dogs, or actually my daughter's chihuahua is losing his ever-loving mind. Close as you can get without it actually touching. Boom. And it would actually show a lot better. But I'm going to pause, put this under the dryer, pause, and bring it back to show you. Alright. Now while my fan is drying, I wanted to show you two more little tricks here, at least with the magnetics. So, if you haven't heard about this particular lovely little nail tip hack, another one found on a deep dive on Reddit. Regular refrigerator magnet. Nothing special, refrigerator magnet, right? This is how you can get really perfect crisp lines to be able to use. I call it like the red Christmas wrapping paper effect. Now, Girly Nails 66, Suzanne, over there. If you don't follow her, you need to follow her. She's got, God, almost 3,000 subscribers or more on YouTube and everything else. This is the woman that saved me and taught me so much when I was starting out. She is the one that taught me about using this little silicone mat that you can get, that you use for cooking. And it's great because it'll hold your plates as you're scraping designs. Or it's perfect and great for folding and doing fluid art. Or in this particular case, we're going to do a nail decal using this. So I'm going to put it on here and I'm going to hope, please Lord, show. The show's been not good enough, so let's try using Moon Cat Stormtrooper. Sometimes those darker polishes just show up better on the camera, like I said earlier. Yeah, there you go. So now you can really see it. And it's doing it with the velour. It's just kind of hard to see. And this is one of those that you would do it and you would keep it setting and you would just let it sit there and dry. Oh, now my darn husky's losing his mind. it's not going to show that well. But I can see it, but it's kind of hard to show, so it's just not really showing. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. So if I flip it around. So if you set that and then you just let it to the side and you let it dry, it'll dry, and then you can peel it off and apply it to your nails, right? I can tell you, a fan is your best friend to have close nearby, right? It saves you, especially if you come to an age like myself where I never know if I'm going to be hot or cold or whatever. Now, I did see on Reddit there were people talking about using the scientific mixer to do the glass bowl effect. Now, here's what I have found, because I too have an issue and I struggle with the glass bead. So, one, glass bead effect, you actually want it on a lower setting. So if I put it on the lowest setting I can get it, and I'm going to place this here on it. There is a really powerful freaking magnet in there. See, it really doesn't. There it goes. If you move it around a lot, you can get that glass bead, but you really have to work it and move it around to get that glass bead effect. Here, I'll try to get a little bit darker on there so I can show you what I'm doing. Let's see if it'll hopefully show up. You really have to work it to get it. Hush. Never get a cat a hoodle purr, y'all. They're obnoxious. You really have to work it to get that glass bead effect. Instead, what I found works better for me, because I've tried every looking trick there is with all the different wands and doing all the things. The best in a minute, killers. They want to go outside, so I'll take them outside to go potty for this. Must be the storm's fixing to hit, and they need to go outside and inspect it. Got this off of Etsy. I cannot remember the store I got it from. Is it on here anywhere? No, it doesn't say. Anyways, this little tool. Stick your nail underneath it, right? I'm going to stick it right on top. And I'm just going to spin it. It doesn't need to be really fast. As a matter of fact, sometimes the slower you go, the better. Beautiful, gorgeous glass bead effect, and it's so much better using the magnetic mixed, using that magnetic stir bar. But that's like a gorgeous glass bead. Whereas it's still pretty, the one that you can do using the spinner itself. It's still pretty, but it just doesn't give you that really concentrated. And this is spreading out because I put that on a little too thick, so I put it actually in there too thick, but it's good enough for demonstration purposes. All right, last bit is I'll show you what they look like. Okay, let the dogs out so they won't interrupt us. But as you can see, using the mixed, even with the blowout little bit that we do get of the bleed, at least with the mixed and using the Captivate, your lines are still pretty darn crisp, right? In comparison, so here it is not mixed, here it is mixed, not mixed, mixed. Look at the lines in comparison to the blowouts versus it. Using Mooncat. Don't know why it's that little funky color. You can really see it on down, the difference on the down one. On hers. Yeah, you can really see on that one the line differences versus mixed. And you can really kind of see them also with Lynn B's. You can kind of see the lines a lot better. And again, I think they would all show up better on black, but I kind of wanted to show you exactly what it looked like. So as you can see, your scientific magnetic mixers using those little micro beads really is your friend. I mean, just look at the comparison and the differences. And the matte of the glitter that you're able to pick up and get mixed from the mixture. And look at the difference it makes for your magnetic. So again, that's purely same exact polishes, just using the mixer. And the Captivate was used on top of all of these. So even that's not an issue for any of those. I used the Victorian Barn Herb Captivate on top of all of these to seal them all the exact same way. So really, this is what it looks like when you use the Captivate on top and you use the scientific mixer to mix it up. You get, if you ask me, it's 100% better on the lines. I mean, they really pop and they really show so much better. All right, well, thank you for joining me for another Nail Tips brought to you by Rebel Nails by Rachel. So join the rebellion and have fun. Remember, this is nail art. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be art, and it's meant to be fun. Dun, dun.